Dabblers, it's Floz. Welcome back to another Flosstube video. Today's video will be about my February stitching update. We'll talk a little bit about life on my whips and a little bit of haul. If you're interested in what I'm about to say, then keep watching. Now, before we get into the video content, just a friendly reminder if you're new, the Couple of Dabblers channel is run by both myself and my husband JP. JP does his normal geeky wargaming content and I do my cross-stitch side of things. And together we also do hobby with us, hang out with us, or talk about whatever that takes our fancy. So we pretty much just want to show you what we like to do separately and together. If that sounds pretty cool to you, I mean, I know the channel is a bit of a weird existence on YouTube. If you want to show your support, make sure to subscribe to our channel and like our videos and comment on our videos and ask us questions. We do really like to interact with you. So put that aside. Normally with my monthly stitching updates, I tend to separate different contents and put in the description box like different chapters, so you can click on different sections of the video just to skip the boring things that you're not interested in. I will try to do that in this video as well. And normally I would put the life update towards the end because I'm assuming a lot of people don't really care about people's lives, they're just here for the stitching. But this video might be a bit of a different one this time. I mean, I will put some of the life update towards the end, but it's kind of unavoidable to mention it in between whip updates as well, so I'll do that also. Hopefully you don't mind. And before we get into like haul and whips, I just want to show you I washed some projects. So the first one was my first finished object in 2022. It is the neuro stem cell electron microscope for JP. So I've washed and ironed. It might not seem like that. I think the fabric, it's still a bit warped because of the hoop, the Nerge plastic hoop I used. It sort of stretched the fabric in a weird way. I don't know whether the frame shop can do something about it. I'm hoping so. Or maybe if it's good enough, they'll just frame it rather than charging me for fabric stretching. So I also did a little name tag and the ear in a very conspicuous way. I also made a video of how I washed the grid off for the 25 count easy count, and the video is already up. And that was my first time washing any grid off. It was interesting because I decided to experiment and made a video about it. So if you're interested in watching the video and see how I went, just, you know, I'll put the link up there. And then many months ago, I promised I would finish stitching the wedding ride, which should look like this. It is by Imaginating. It should look like that. And it's supposed to be for a couple that was going to have their wedding in 2020, but it didn't end up happening and they decided to call it off and save money for a house, which is probably more practical. And at the time, I finished everything else, just left the date blank with the 2 French knots in between to separate the year and, you know, the months and dates. So then I said, oh, I would get rid of the French knots and maybe write something else on the banner. So I finally did that. And now it's washed as well. So I don't know whether you could tell, but it's COVID can't stop love. It was a bit hard to fit that on here because the banner itself is quite small. But now it's done. So now I can find a time and go to the frame store and frame these 2 together. But for now, they just going to be on this hanger and stay in the wardrobe. So I'll just display it here and here. Okay, now I've got a little bit of hole. These are obviously stitching related, but they didn't end up getting deducted from my hobby budget because first of all, I got a light. I actually got this light from like an Asian or like Chinese means. It's like a Chinese brand. It's supposed to go up like this. So it's rechargeable and it's got different light setting. I think it was like $49 or $45, which was not cheap. Anyways, when I got it, I thought, oh, it's gonna be so cool if we ended up going somewhere. I could just take this and it would help me with stitching on the go, sort of. And then I tried it and realized it's actually not that bright. I mean, it's probably the problem with all the rechargeable lights. You just can't compare it with the ones that just can get plugged into the power board. But now I'm thinking maybe I could just use it underneath the project to shine the holes through, especially if I have like navy fabrics or black fabrics, so that might help. So either way, I'll still use it. Now, this one didn't get deducted from my hobby budget because technically I could use it for something else. It's not necessarily like exclusively cross stitch related, so that's how I get away with it. And then I also got some threads from an actual stitching store. So I will talk a little bit in details later, but I got these threads from Cross Stitch and More in Melbourne. It's a cross stitch store, and that was my first time visiting a cross stitch store. It was kind of daunting because I'm not very good with stranger human interactions, so when I'm in a physical store I get really awkward. I mean, the owner was nice. I think she was talking to another customer when I got there, but I just wanted some threads for a specific project that you will see later. So I ended up getting this Threadworks 1090. It's like a variegated red cotton thread, and these DMC, is that variegation thread? 4245, 2 skeins of it. It's like a purple, blue to like a very deep blue variegated thread. Quite nice. Yeah, and I'll tell you why I got these later. So it was interesting visiting a store. I mean, everything's a bit more expensive in a store compared to if you buy them online, but I kind of calculated it. It was just for the fact that you could go and look at the threads and touch them. It's worth it. I suppose if it's just for a few things, it's okay. But if you want to kit up the whole thing, I reckon you would pay a lot more. But it's hard. I mean, we gotta support the local needle workshop. Otherwise, they're just gonna all go online and you won't be able to physically touch all the good things. And if you want to, you know, do your own design, sometimes you gotta physically see the threads to see the color. There are always like color differences compared to when you look at them and when you see them on a device or through a picture. So yeah. And that's my little haul. So for next month, I will be adding the $50 monthly budget, and I think I'll be having $63 or something. And for now, I can't think of anything urgent that I need to buy. So hopefully I won't buy anything and I'll just pile my money up and eventually kit up something again. Yeah, I think this year my goal is to just kit up the ones I want to start and maybe buy another stand. Because right now the Lowry stand's okay, but I am still eyeing another alternative that can give me more angle and make stitching more comfortable. Lowry stand is, I mean, the good thing about Lowry stand is it saves space, because it's, if you want it in front of you, you can have it in front of you, but if it stands on the side, it really saves space and you can just tuck it in if you don't want it. But because it's all like metal, it can only go at a certain angle, like this way or this way. There's not much like adjustment that you can get from other angles. Anyways, so that's the little haul and my 2 cents on my plans on what I want to spend on later on when I get the money. Now to progress. So normally I mention things in like a random order. I just mention something that might have been worked on a bit more, regardless of when I worked on it, whether it was at the start of the month. But this time I kind of wanted to do it in chronological order. It just makes more sense that way, so then I can also mention things as they happen. So last time when I made the January update, it was the end of January, but it was on the 30th or 29th or something. So I will just mention, like, on 31st of Jan, I did only 15 minutes on the wedding sampler that you'll see later. And I didn't stitch much because we actually found out that Himi had cancer. So I ended up going to work and come back because I just couldn't function. And on Tuesday I didn't go to work because I just knew I couldn't. And then that made me decide to work on something that I didn't plan to do straight away. It is a Good Tyke by Long Dog sampler, and it looks like this. So there are actually quite a few greyhound patterns out there, but some of them just don't look very greyhound-like. They don't really capture the greyhound figure. You know, the slender waist and long legs and the long snout. Normally I don't like samplers, but this one looks really greyhound-like. So I ended up purchasing it. I'm still looking for like other ones that are really good, but so far I haven't found any that really caught my eyes yet. So as you can see, this one, the greyhound is actually fawn. So I'm pretty sure I've mentioned before I wanted to change it to match Amy, and Amy is a black greyhound. So I decided to get it started. And because I haven't worked out the color scheme, so I decided to at least stitch the outlines first, and maybe some other like little flowers on the side. So I had this fabric from a subscription box that I had just for 1 month, and I added the hand-dyed fabric, and this was 32 count, a fat quarter. It's called Lily Pad. So it's mostly blue, but the middle part, the center, is green. The actual color, it's a bit more vibrant than what you can see in the camera, but it's kind of accurate. So I ended up finishing the outline of the greyhound and also stitch a little bit of the flowers on the side and a bit of leaf. I didn't want to use the color schemes they gave because it's kind of weird. They made the background like a gray color, but they actually said to stitch on white. So I just disregarded all the color scheme. I decided to just fill in the colors randomly with whatever threads I got. So in that subscription box, I also had this like silks for you. It's like a variegated green, so I wanted to use it for this project because it does have a lot of like leaves. If you look at the preview again, a lot of the leaves were like purple or blue or something, so I just wanted to make some of them green because it just makes sense. The variegation it gives is kind of subtle, so you can't see it through the camera. Some of the green is kind of like with a yellow tinge. It's quite nice. And somehow the leaves here, so the tip bit is a bit more yellow, and then towards the end is a bit more green. So it's quite nice. And I mentioned I got some threads for this one because if the main body is black or really dark, I can't make everything else like the border black too. So I wanted to make the border and the words a different color. Imagine if like this color is for the words, and the red ones for the inner border. I think it will be pretty cool, very colorful. I wanted to make it like a really colorful one just because, you know, it will be contrasting with the black in the middle. So I hope I make the right decision. And with the flowers, I used a bit of a, what are these? So I purchased these, apparently they're like trial or like test floss. So they're really like tiny itty bitty like kit with different colors. I bought it off Cross Stitch Stash Unload, and they have like different colors here. So I thought, oh, I'll just use them randomly to fill in the colors. And now I'm thinking I can also use the leftover kit flosses, because I think I have some like pink or light blues or light orange, and they would go pretty well as flowers or leaf colors too. So I ended up stitching this for about a week because I really wanted to finish the outline of the greyhound. And I've written down. So yeah, I stitched it from the 1st of Feb to 6th of Feb. Altogether 10 hours and 45 minutes. And on 1st of Feb, the Tuesday, I didn't go to work because I was in distraught. So I stitched more than a normal working day. And on the 4th of Feb, which was a Friday, we ended up playing games after I finished work. Because we started another co-op game called Outward. It was like a fantasy RPG. It's quite hard, a little bit clunky, but it's very interesting, and yeah, we're just playing it when we have time. So I didn't end up stitching on that day. So altogether I stitched 5 stitching days on a good tyke by Long Dog Sampler. I'll just show you again. At first I was very unsure of this fabric because I felt like I just felt this might be too colorful for the pattern, but then I was just like, what the hell? Since I've got this fabric, I might as well use it. And it can fit the pattern really well, because the pattern actually requires quite a bit of fabric. It's 222 by 222. Obviously not full coverage, but still it's rather sizable. So yeah. So that's the first project that I did in Feb. Then I did Napping Kitten from 7th to 14th. Do I have? So that's what it looks like. It is a gold collection petite, and I'm actually stitching this with Bernadette from Burn Stitches. She started it first, and then she realized that I actually got this kit that I wanted to start, and she was kind enough to ask me whether I was interested in stitching this together with her, and I've never done it before, so I said yes, why not? And we could motivate each other to stitch as well. So I just put it in like a bag. That's normally how I store things. Very crude. So this is where I'm up to. Just excuse all the little tail. I have to leave the tails because they're not tucked in properly yet. So once the threads are tucked in, I can snip them off. But for now, this is it. I still haven't completed the face. Now I'm just extending to like the background and a bit of the cat body and some of the flowers. I'm kind of glad that I did the branch because I was really bored stitching it. It's just so beigey. I like colors, like colors. If it's not bright, at least give me some colors. I can't deal with light colored threads. Oh, so boring. But I forced myself to stitch a bit of the branch and then something else and then come back to it again. And a lot of the background is actually half stitches. And I actually did the basket weave half stitches for the first time because I heard like a lot of people complain that tent or continental stitches can like warp the fabric, and I didn't want that to happen, and also maybe the coverage is not great. So before this I watched a couple of like needlework videos on like basket weave. I wasn't sure how it was going to go because, you know, normally we look at things horizontally or vertically, but basket weave stitches require you to look at things diagonally, and it also goes like up, down and stuff. So I tried it out. I actually quite like it. I mean, I still get confused because at the start, I think I went the wrong way. So the basket weave at the back looked weird, but then I realized my mistake. So I did it the correct way. And now that's what the back looks like. It just looks like basket weave at the back. And it does give really good coverage because, I mean, this is 2/1 on 18, but with half stitches, you really don't notice much of the fabric. So I do enjoy looking at things in a different direction. The reason why I wanted to try out basket weave stitches is that eventually I want to do a Hade project, and I want to do it with half stitches. And to make sure things look nice and the coverage is good, I wanted to try basket weave. But obviously I probably shouldn't trial it on such a big project just in case I make a lot of mistakes. So it's a good attempt to try it out on this one. So yeah, that means I could give it a go on the Hade project doing half stitches. So yeah, it's very cute. I don't actually remember how much I did in Jan. I'll put, you know, a comparison here. I think I completed more of the face, and obviously this bit's all new, and down here. I did spend a lot of time stitching this. Altogether 16 hours and 40 minutes. Yep. So all the stitching days on the napping kitten was good, except 13th, because on 12th we ended up euthanizing Amy, so Amy is no longer with us. And we decided, well, I decided maybe we need to go somewhere just to change scene a little bit. So we ended up going to Dalesford. So on 13th, that was a Sunday, I only stitched for an hour after the whole day. So I stitched it at night, and the lighting was really bad. So that's I guess the least amount of stitching time I got during the 7 or 8 days. Yeah, I think I made really good progress. And I actually watched Bernadette's, I'm not sure whether it's the latest stitching update videos now. But she was saying now I did a lot more than her. I mean, she's a very fast stitcher anyway, so I'm sure she'll keep up. Well, she'll catch up. So yeah, she was saying like if we combine what I did and what she did, we might have finished the whole thing. So she did a lot more on the body. I think she pretty much finished the body and the paw, and I did the rest. So yeah, it's nice to stitch something with someone, and you can always check up on each other's progress and, you know, comment and motivate each other. So I probably should do this more often, but yeah, I guess it all depends on what happens later, whether someone else has what I've got. I don't tend to force myself to network, really. I'm not a very sociable person, especially in real life. And I don't like to conform, really. It's like if it's something I like, I'll like it. I'll not stitch something just because I want to be stitching it with someone. So I guess it's all like it all depends on what happens in the future, whether I get asked to do a stitch along together and I have the pattern, I will be very happy to do it. So after that, I did the countryside from 15th to 20th. And this is a kit I bought from Amazon. It is my biggest whip as well for now. It is by Stitch DMC or Max Stitch. I'm assuming it's the same company, but somehow they changed their names around. The stitch count of this project is 350 by 262 or something like that. And it's stitched on 14 count. So I should have said, right now I'm still at, I think, this point. I'm extending to this tree, but I'm still up here. So roughly here. Grab it. It is on my Lowry stand with the quantum frame. And this is how far I'm getting. So I ended up stitching, I think, these 2 columns and extending my stitches horizontally as well. Originally I wanted to do parking, but I thought it was too much effort, and up to this point there are a lot of stitches that are kind of directional, so I ended up getting this branch almost completed and just like fill in chunks of colors. That's the whole thing. And I'll maybe do a comparison like up and down. I think I made really good progress because this area had a lot of like blocky whitish or cream colors, just like boring stitches. So yeah, it's rather nice. So I think with this one, I don't think I'll be able to do parking. I'll do like random parking for certain colors if I'm sick of the colors, and then just color complete, so kind of cross country. It just makes sense that way. And it's not so confetti heavy that I have to park. So maybe I'll try parking with some other projects in the future. And also last time when I was trying to display this, the fabric actually rolled off. So I thought, oh, it's easier if I just keep this frame adapter on. So that means the fabric won't come off, and also it's easier to remove the project from the Larry stand. Because I just loosen the clamp that holds this. Oh yeah. I don't know what percentage I'm on. I'm just gonna put it down because I'm working on paper chart and I'm not very fast because I'm just like taking pictures of the paper chart and just mark off, eyeballing everything. So for the countryside, I probably mentioned I stitched it from 15th to 20th. Altogether, I stitched on it for 11 hours and 35 minutes. Tuesday the 15th, I didn't go to work. Mentally not prepared. So I stitched more than normal. And Wednesday, I didn't end up stitching. I'm assuming it's because after work, we just ended up playing games. That's normally what happens. Or maybe because of overtime. Yeah, I think we did quite a few overtimes recently, just half an hour here and there. And then 17th and 18th, so the Thursday and Friday, I just stitched it half an hour before work, nothing after. The Friday was definitely because it was game night, so we just played game. Yeah, I think I progressed really well on the countryside, just because, like what I said, there are blocks of colors, so you could just keep going with the thread rather than stopping and then trying to see where it would start again and then start it. So yeah, because I'm progressing so fast, I really didn't want to stop, but I forced myself to stop because it was time to move on to something else. And I really tried to work on all my whips if I could. I think if it wasn't for Flosstube, I might not do it that way. I might just work on certain things a lot longer, but because I want to show updates on all the projects, so I kind of force myself to stop sometimes. And then for 21st to 23rd, I stitched on wedding sampler. I didn't stitch that long because I forced myself to stop again to move on. If I had absolutely another choice, then I would probably just keep stitching until now. So I'll show you. This is Wedding Sampler by Teresa Wensler. It is going to be a present for my friend who is having her wedding in October. I will probably focus on this soon, I think, because it takes a long time to do, even though it's not full coverage with all the color changes, quarter stitches, so many things going on. Yeah, it's not a very big project, but just a lot of things to consider. It's kind of time consuming and you gotta be prepared for it. And there it is. So that's where I'm up to. This. So I will probably do a left and right comparison. And the good thing is I've finished the floral band here. Or I think I've finished. Until I found some random stitch that's not completed. So then I decided to just extend on this side. I stitched more on the column here, or the border, and also filled in a little bit of the leaf or flowers down here. I think I might have stitched a little bit more here too. If I remember correctly, I think this border, aside from the satin stitches on the side, this might be the first page, and then the rest is on another page. So I'm progressing okay, I reckon. I think here there's another floral border-ish with so many color changes. Here is just like quarter stitches, a lot of them. And I actually thought I lost this makeshift thread keeper thing, and because I finished the neuro stem cell project, I had the Paco organizer emptied out, so I upgraded it to this. It's quite pretty. You wouldn't think all these colors were from like 20 stitches in the floral band. I just left some random stitches out when I was color completing. So yeah, so many different colors and a lot of blends. But I think I'm getting the hang of it. It's getting faster. So my strategy is to like do some really confetti heavy areas first, and then if I'm mentally exhausted, I'll just keep going with the column. At least it's just one direction, one color. So that will relax me a little bit. I think when I stitch on it again, I need to use up the threads on this. If not, just migrate them onto this Paco organizer. Yeah, quite happy with it. I hope next time when I see you, I get to do more on this, or maybe finish this area, but I doubt it, depending on how much I feel like working on this. But I'll have to focus on this soon because there is a time limit. Oh, and also with the napping kitten, I actually forgot to mention, it's supposed to be, or I was planning to finish it for my sister-in-law, whose birthday is coming up in like end of March, but I don't think I'll be able to finish it and frame. I might be able to finish it, but definitely not frame it. So I'll just finish it whenever I can and give it to her later. That'll be okay. I don't think she'll mind. So for wedding sampler, I stitched for 4 hours and 55 minutes. So pretty much 5 hours for 3 days. Yeah, I would have continued on if it weren't for Flosstube. And I want to, you know, show all the updates on all the whips. But yeah. Then from 24th to 26th, I changed my project to Victorian Elegance. And it's another Dimensions Gold collection project. It looks like this. Very pretty. I think last time I just had maybe this bit left for the normal cross stitch. Yeah. Now I am happy to report that I finished all the normal stitches. Maybe do a comparison here. It's just a bit more filled in on the hat. I do not miss working with the like plasticky ribbon. It is a nightmare to work with. it destroys my fabric and destroys the stitches that were laid previously, because when you pull it out, it loosens the previous stitch and make them look very ugly. So if you have this kit as well, I would recommend you stitch with this thing first, and once they are stitched, you could just do all the other stitches next to it. Yeah, it will just make everything look a lot neater and nicer. So yeah, now the normal stitches are done. I've got a lot of, like, all the other heavy duty things, like backstitch. So backstitch down here should be done. Up here there's a lot more to be done. I mean, I've done a little bit here, and there's couching, French knots, beading, and the main focus, the ribbon embroidery. So it's all the daunting stuff. You would think if I focus on it, I might be able to get it done quick-ish, but I don't know. I mean, this will be a project for myself, and once it's done, I might just hang it in the stitching corner for now and decide what to do later. So I'm not in a hurry to finish it. I'll just take it easy and see what I want to do first. And also, I mean, I still have some of the back stitching to do and couching and stuff, but if you have finished this, the US print, can you comment down below and let me know whether you've had any trouble washing it, like whether the colors run or not, because I do want to wash it. I've had it for a while. I think it's getting a bit dirty, but I'm worried about color running, so I don't want to destroy whatever I've worked on with water. So if you could let me know your experience, that would be greatly appreciated. Yeah, I don't know. Can you see the sparkle? Here and here. I don't know. On the pin or something? Yeah. Very nice. So on the Victorian Elegance, I worked for 4 hours and 5 minutes, or 4 hours. Yeah, all 3 days. And after I finished the normal cross stitch on Victorian Elegance, I thought, oh, it's time for me to stop. I still have my felt calendar that I didn't do, so I stitched a little bit on this. Just yesterday? Yeah, just yesterday, 26, for 1.5 hours. So this is by Design Works. It's a felt embellishment calendar. You're supposed to decorate it with all the sequins and beads. And up here, you have the instructions and tell you which symbol represents which color of the sequins. You secure the sequins with the bead on top. I still have a long way to go. I mean, technically I shouldn't have started another one, then I would have a lot more time to work on this, but you know, the situation just urged me to start on that project. I didn't want to not work on it at all when Amy was still with us. Yeah, I will try to get it finished by March, as in, yeah, by the end of March, but still no promises. It all depends on whether I feel like it. But yeah, it's very sparkly. Sorry, I'll have to put some things away because it's very messy. Oh god. So all for Feb, I stitched 49 hours and 30 minutes.
Which was okay.
I mean, considering February was the shortest month, and a lot has happened. And did I forget? So in terms of plans, I don't plan to start anything anytime soon until I finish. It looks like there might be a few finishes coming up in the next couple of months. And then I can start something new. For sure, I will be starting 2 more projects this year. I'm just hoping I can get to it soonish. And I have my surgery rescheduled for start of March, so next week actually. I haven't contacted the hospital to see whether I needed to prepare anything. I've also got my annual leave scheduled, so after the surgery I've got 1 week to recover. And we also are researching on another greyhound to have, and we actually met with a boy today. He was really nice. He was a big boy though. He was 39 kilos apparently, and so friendly, like really different from Amy. The only thing is he's a bit older than I'd like. I don't think JP minds. He's 5 years old. He just turned 5 this month, actually, like last week. And apparently he was like, he was rescued, and then maybe because of his sheer size, no one was even interested in him, and it's been 6 months. He was staying with the foster family. And the foster carer said she would keep him if it wasn't for the fact that she has 4 dogs already. I think 3 greyhounds and one whippet. So he's really nice. We're still like looking at other options too, but he is a really nice dog. So we contacted 2 different greyhound rescue groups. One got back to us really quickly, the Greyhound Safety Net, and the other one didn't say anything. It was the Racing to Rehome. Maybe we're just not what they're looking for, because we specifically inquired about 2 dogs. They're both boys, so we're pretty much exclusively looking at boys, since we know we have the capacity to look after a big boy, and they tend to be ignored or neglected because of, I guess, stereotypes, thinking that they're more aggressive, and also because of the size, it's bigger, so a lot of the older folks that tend to rescue greyhounds probably can't handle them. So we're pretty adamant on getting a boy, and also, very strangely, male greyhounds are more affectionate, and we don't mind a change of like personality, getting a bit of a, I guess, clingy greyhound. So after my surgery, maybe like halfway through the recovering week, we might adopt one, if we decide to adopt Rex, the greyhound, that we just met. Otherwise, we might be looking still and meet with a few other ones, and we'll see how we go. So because I've got 1 week and a little bit, hopefully I'll get a lot more stitching done and finish the calendar. And yeah, hopefully during that week I can also frame the 2 fully finished objects, and then JP can get his little decoration and gift for his desk, and he's really excited about it. And that's pretty much it. In terms of video schedules, I'll see how I feel. I do want to do a stitch with me or maybe a hobby with us. I didn't go into details about Amy because I'm still not ready yet. There were quite a few things to mention, like the whole process. I thought might help someone if we talk about it, because I feel like no one really talks about it. And we were so newbie when we were trying to figure out what to do. So once I'm mentally ready, we can like go through the process. And also the grieving process too. So that's pretty much it for Feb. Comment down below, I don't know, whether you like my progress on different things. Oh, and also I want to thank a few Flosstubers. There's the Cat from Cat Talks, and also Bernadette from Burn Stitches, and Amy from Stitchery Lovers. They've been really kind on Instagram and comforting me. It's been hard mentally and physically. And it's nice to have stitching friends. Considering it's hard in daily life to find people who are into cross stitch. Although there's one work colleague that actually stitches, but we're not really close. But sometimes she'll ask me questions and we just talk online. It's nice. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So wish me luck in the comment section if you want to for my surgery. I'm hoping I'll recover quickly, considering it's just a small surgery and I have to like do a bunch of payment stuff for it. Yeah, it's gonna be I mean, this year has already been an expensive year considering it's only been 2 months. So yeah, I'll see you in my next video hopefully soon. And yeah, I'll link all the Flosstubers mentioned down below. I'll also link my Instagram down below if you're interested in following me. I don't post very often because Instagram is really showy, and I like to write things and people don't really read. They just look at the pictures and decide whether to like it or not. So I'm not a huge fan on Instagram, but from time to time, if I feel like it, I'll post a picture. If you want it, you can go and follow me or us if JP decides to post something. I think that's it. Just stay safe, enjoy time with your family, and happy stitching. Bye.